Hello lovely viewers, you are most welcome to our channel Poetry Online. In this video, we shall be discussing the detailed analysis of Edufa by Efua Sutherland. Kindly subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to get updates on all our new videos. Once again, let us assure you of a very interesting discussion. Get ready for this lesson. Edufa is a play written by a seasoned Ghanaian female writer called Efua Sutherland. Edufa exemplifies the pioneering efforts of an African writer trying to fashion something new out of the models and influences which her Western education has made available to her. The tragedy of Edufa arises from the modern African's inability to be truly modern or truly traditional in his belief. The play concerns itself with the confusion which afflicts the African following the encounter with European culture under colonialism. The African's failure to emerge as a unified being with positive life-enhancing and selfless values after colonization becomes a theme of concern for the playwright Efua Sutherland. The dramatist, Efua Sutherland, is successful in creating an atmosphere which is decidedly African. She creates a world that contains water pots, red ant hills, bathing in herbs, and women going from house to house singing dirges. The play also employs music and dance, which makes it a uniquely African drama. In addition to these African paraphernalias, the value behind the play is also African. Edufa is presented as a modern emancipated man caught between the old religion. Edufa wants to be recognized as a wealthy man whose house is open to all. He displays that ostentatious generosity and the desire to be seen as the father of the community, which remains a characteristic of rich Africans regardless of how they acquire their wealth. Efua Sutherland also places great value on motherhood, and indeed, the play in one sense is a tribute to motherhood. The play is also based on the belief in witchcraft, which is a part of the African tradition. Edufa, the eponymous character of the play, is a wealthy and influential man in the community. But as often happens, when people become rich, they try all within their reach to buy their way out of every situation and everything. And in Edufa's case, he tries to buy his way out of death. Edufa visits a diviner and is told that his death is fast approaching. But the diviner gives him a charm which is capable of deflecting his death to someone who offers to die for him. Edufa takes the charm home, hoping to deflect his death onto some relatively unimportant family member of his household. Unfortunately, Edufa's wife, who is called Ampoma, assumes the dreadful burden of Edufa's early death. Ampoma offers to die out of love for her husband. The play opens when time is always up for Edufa's wife Ampoma. A dreadful illness has descended upon her, and all her husband's effort to find a cure proves futile. Ampoma suffers Edufa's early death due to Edufa's miscalculation. He could not foresee that his wife would be the victim of the charm. There is an element of selfishness and even foolishness which reduces the force of his tragedy and diminishes the willingness of the readers and audience to sympathize with him. Not only is it unheroic to convince someone to die for him, but it should have been obvious that, given the situation in which he finds himself, only someone who is dear to him will be caught up by his untimely death. The events of this play begins in the morning with Abner collecting dew water and ends in the night of the same day with Ampoma's death and Edufa's mental collapse. The play begins with a prologue that sets the scene for the gloom and misery which pervades this tragedy. It is almost morning, but Abna, Edufa's younger sister, has not had any sleep. She was asked to collect the night's dew in one pot and fresh water from the stream in another pot. As she performs this mystic duty, she complains about the terrors of the night and the changes that has come over Edufa's household. Edufa's house was once a place of laughter and solace for all in the community, but now its gates are shut to everyone. She equally reveals Edufa's unwillingness to let anyone know about Ampuma's health. Ampuma's illness is kept a secret to all, including her own mother. Edufa picks up the pots Abner has filled during the night and gives instruction on how they are to be used to perform ritual bath for his sick wife Ampuma. The playwright builds an atmosphere of foreboding by introducing the funeral chant of a chorus of women, which initially alarms Edufa until he reassures himself that the dead singers are not coming to his house. His conversation with Segua is filled with anxiety and desperation. Segua thinks their efforts, consisting of ritual bath and incense burning, are not bringing any relief to the unfortunate lady of the house. "Let's call for help," she says desperately. But Edufa does not agree. He wishes his wife's condition be kept a secret from everyone. Segua is especially unhappy about the fact that Ampuma's illness is being cared from her own mother. She does not seem to believe, as Edufa does, that Ampuma is getting better. She nevertheless agrees to do as Edufa wishes. Efua Sutherland, in this opening scene, creates a scene of apprehension and misery, a feeling that Ampuma's illness is a consequence of some abominable deed. When Ampuma herself appears in the next scene, she expresses two concerns, which will be associated with her throughout the play and which will come to symbolize her plight. She complains that she is falling while the sun is shining on the world, and throughout the play, Ampuma's impending death will be linked to the sun. She has come out onto the bright sun because there is only darkness and cold in her bed. Isn't she complaining about the secrecy that surrounds Edufa's deeds that has condemned her to death? And is she not asking her husband to bring his actions out into the light of the sun? Perhaps such openness might heal her. Her husband, however, persists in the course he has chosen of herbal bath and incense burning. He believes that they have only one more of such baths to take. Tomorrow, you will feel much better, I promise you. But his wife is not convinced with this. Ampuma's next concern is for his children, whom she is leaving behind. Motherhood is a major theme in this tragedy, and Ampuma is presented as a mother who must tragically leave her children because of the love she has for her husband. It is an unnatural choice, but who is to blame? The mother who made the choice, or the husband who imposed the choice? Rather unnaturally, Ampuma compels her husband to promise her that he will never place her children in the care of another wife, and Edufa swears this terrible oath that no other woman shall share his bed. The scene ends with Ampuma, as if foreseeing her imminent death, reaching out for her children. Perhaps the scene is rather melodramatic, with Ampuma crying out for her children and her mother, while in the distance the chorus is heard again singing their dirge about the death of her mother. In the next scene, Segua comes to re-emphasize the mystery surrounding Ampuma's illness. She does not know anything for a fact, but she is certain and she believes strongly that Edufa has done something wrong to Ampuma, or Edufa is aware of Ampuma's condition. She is fed up with having to burn the futile incense and ritual bath. She is tired of the secret she has to keep concerning her mistress's illness, and in this scene, she simply lashes out her frustration. Scene 4 breaks out the tension and unravels the mystery of Ampuma's illness. The visit of Kankam confirms Segua's suspicion about Edufa's responsibility for his wife's illness and also contributes to our understanding of the kind of hero Edufa is. Kankam is Edufa's father and does not hold him in the kind of awe in which he is held by almost everybody in the community. In fact, Kankam has not been in his son's house for 3 good years, but has come on this fateful day to ask about the health of his daughter-in-law, Ampuma. It is Kankam who reveals the secret of Ampuma's illness, even though Edufa at first refuses to acknowledge his guilt. Once Kankam leaves, Edufa confesses his misdeed in the most important speech of the play, in which he confesses that he did not even believe in what he was doing when he took the charm that was supposed to prolong his life. He says, "Who thought the charm made any sense? Not I, a mystic symbol by which to calm my fears. That was all I could concede it. It still doesn't make any sense, and yet how it frets me until I am a leaf grown frantic into a whirlwind. I only hadn't been so cynical, but I bent my knee where I had no creed, and am constrained by my mockery." The thing he did not quite believe in has turned dangerously serious, and his wife now lies at death's door. His problem is that he is neither one thing nor the other. He is neither too modern or too traditional. If he did not really believe in witchcraft and other elements of the traditional belief, then he should not have dabbled in it. He should have been guided by the scientific principles of his formal education, as his father tried to bring him up to do. What he is guilty of, he says, is his failure to create a faith. He is neither traditional or modern in his belief. Furthermore, his quarrel with his father exposes him as a man who is more concerned with the social responsibility and popularity that comes with wealth than facing up to the consequences of his action. What is more, his manner of addressing his father is disrespectful and rather un-African. His fame and wealth seem to have bloated his head. When at the end of the scene, he wishes that his father comes back, he says, "So I may weep on his shoulder." The readers cannot extend edufa much sympathy. He lacks the moral courage to admit his misdeed to his father and cannot be truly sorry. In a real sense, this play reaches its climax in the scene between Kankam and edufa. The rest is just a tensionless drift toward Ampuma's certain death. Act 2 opens with the chorus arriving at Edupa's house. It is a scene of profound dramatic irony, in which the women, not knowing how close to death Ampuma is, come to mourn the death of another inhabitant of the town. The pathos of this scene lies in the innocence of the chorus as against the sorrowful knowledge of Segua and the pretense of Edufa, which will inevitably be exposed. Senchi in Act 2 Scene 2 seems at first to provide comic relief, something that will not occur in the model upon which this play is partly crafted. Why does the playwright bring this character to make jokes, flirt with women, and sing songs? What is such a character doing in a tragedy? Well, there are two answers to this question. Senchi's arrival leads to a general lifting of the spirits and a general lifting of the gloom that pervades this tragedy, causing a change in the atmosphere that will affect even the dying Ampuma. Edufa's wife, Ampuma, would join in the merrymaking, only to be struck down again. This deepens the tragic effect. Secondly, Senchi's singing combines with chanting of women to comprise an African element in the tragedy. The scene with Sam the Idiot presents Edufa's untiring efforts to reverse the effects of the charm to save the life of his beloved wife Ampuma. One presumes that Edufa entrusts the crucial mission of seeking the antidote to the curse to an idiot as a way of ensuring the safety of his secret. An idiot is not likely to fathom the significance of the mission. Also, an idiot is often endowed with some kind of holiness that makes him an appropriate messenger for such a mission. Sam may be said to have contributed to the airy atmosphere of the play, but as with Senchi, Sam is a character that detracts from the seriousness of the tragedy and diminishes its impact. Act 3 opens with Edufa and Senchi comparing the quality of their lives. Edufa once thought of himself as a solid man whose enterprise supported the entire community, a life he was once eager to hold on to with all his might and fight with all his resources to maintain. Now, he is not sure. The solidity sometimes becomes illusionary. Sanchi, on the other hand, is a man on the move who travels light and who, as he says, pays his way through life for the songs. He is the artist who displays happiness and who does not like to wear another man's suit, content to be what he is. And it is in the spirit of displaying joy that he sings a song which causes Abner to drop the flowers meant for Ampoma on the step with the sign of the sun, prefiguring Ampoma's death. It is a song which also touches Edufa, Segua, and even Ampoma. In the final scene of the play, the playwright mixes comedy and tragedy as a way of heightening the pathos of Ampoma's death. She joins in the merrymaking scene, only to poison it with a strange behavior and eventual death. When she pulls her waist beads on her husband just before her death, she is in fact claiming him forever, reminding him of his promise not to remarry any woman and puts their children into another woman's care. And when she falls dead on the sign of the sun, it marks the culmination of the quest for the light of the truth and honesty from her husband. On her death, Segua declares Edufa's crime to the guests. Then, Edufa himself, clearly going out of his mind, incoherently confesses the rest and undertakes his madness to bring back his dead wife. The play ends with the death of Ampoma and the mental collapse of Edufa. Thanks for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share this video.